All that to use all this. No, we just can't key the mic. Do you have any traffic?
Did I not click it? Oh, I only clicked one. My bad. And now we click.
It's not the kind of day like this should be.
Mhm.
And so much.
I got different. Sweating. The most thing is nice that you're they're giving trade staff. They have general.
Right.
I feel much better. I'm a CMP liaison officer. Yes. So what? We got a lot of people, we got a lot of things that are good things that they do, but.
Oh, no. I can't. I've heard that about it.
Arguing our circumstances. There's no major. We're so long away.
We are. So I.
Prosecute our own health.
Good to see you.
We do that. All right, well, let me set this down. We're gonna grab a snackaroo. Yeah. It's the one who won that. It could have been something. But. There's always a rate. I said. And I said.
All right, I think we're ready to go, everybody. Welcome again. Neil, I think you can, we're getting close there. You wanna, you need to take a roll call or?
No,
We're good. You already did that. All right, great. All right. Once again, good to see everybody on this hot, sticky day over here. So at this point, I'm going to call this meeting to order. And so next item that I'm going to ask for, if there's any changes to tonight's agenda, otherwise I'm looking for a motion. Motion to approve, second. All right, we're in, all in favor? No opposed. All right, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Then check with public comment. Any public comments tonight anywhere on that? Nothing at all? Okay, very good. Mr. Burke, you're up again.
in accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid conflict of interest. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any of the matters coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the particular matter involved.
All right, all in. I don't think anybody's going to be in jail tomorrow, so that's a good thing. All right, thank you, Neil. Appreciate that. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Looking for a motion on that, please.
Approve the consent agenda.
All right, second, over there. Very good, Dennis. All right, all in favor? All the way around, no opposed. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Next up, Mr. Bjorn, you can come up, start your presentation for us again. Thank you. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
You get the mic real close there to you, just.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. This is a pretty straightforward presentation, same as what you saw last month, with the exception of the actual action request. So we tweaked it a little bit to make it clear that it's not just the northeast portion, it extends south of NC 75. I wanted to make sure it didn't look like we were trying to sneak in a portion south of NC 75. But again, this is to open a public comment period tomorrow for an amendment on the east side of Waxhaw for the Waxhaw Parkway. It would end on August 20th. We are holding one in-person meeting in Waxhaw. Otherwise, virtual online outreach is the primary method for public engagement. This is the motivation for initiating this process, the results of a study conducted by the NCDOT to refine the alignment, which is shown in gray. We chose the center of it as the CTP amendment, which is shown in purple. And then this is the actual amendment compared to what it is right now. So it pulls it in closer to downtown Waxhaw. This has ripple through effects onto the south side of NC 75 due to the continuity to make a bypass to the south of Waxhaw. So the portion shown in lime green is a follow-on amendment to keep that corridor's integrity intact. It's been a mess over the last 30 years. As a reminder, there's been multiple alignments. And this is the process we were going through, started in May, and here we are in July, opening the comment period, which would occur over the next month. We would mail out to all property owners within 300 feet of both corridors, coordinating with Waxhaw and Mineral Springs. Take it back to the towns and the county in September based on the results. We'll make a decision, take it back to CRTPO for information in October, and ideally an action in November. So the action is shown on the screen. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, any questions, Craig?
How is it you plan to get the word out for the public comments?
We are mailing to all the property owners within 300 feet of the corridor. We will be doing media releases, posting on our Facebook account, which Waxhaw and Mineral Springs will be asked to do the same, and we'll be sending out to our 60,000 person distribution list that we have via email.
Follow up. When you send this information out, do you tell them how much it's going to cost and where the funding's coming from?
That is a part of the slideshow of the outreach information. It shows the cost of the project and the motivation for doing it. Includes a link to the actual report as well.
And is it true it's going to be called the Pappas Parkway?
Only if this board chooses to rename it.
I'm just curious about that last part. We're going around, that's all. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Yeah, and just a comment on this one. So obviously I'm very involved in that process there and what we're looking on cost. So we're going to have an estimate of the actual cost of the project, but there is no firm determination on how that gets funded or paid. Right now, we've actually got cooperation between all of the large landowners that the corridor would affect. And so we're looking at our options on there to have additional funding or contribution, one way, shape or form from those landowners to offset some of issues that previously be an issue with DOT and their acquisition. So.
Just then could I follow up?
Sure.
A couple of things. One is based on the proposed route, is there going to be a disruption of current traffic anywhere?
No.
It didn't really look like it to me.
No, there wouldn't be. The existing traffic can go the way it is right now. And then just basically this is a bypass.
Right.
And so
But
we just
it's
open up
not
the bypass.
crossing any other, whether you're going to have to reroute traffic or any of that.
No reroutes. There'll be one crossing in town on Howie Mine, but that's pretty much it until and then at 75 eventually on the north side. We call it the northeast corridor, that one there.
Okay. And I just forgot my other question, so
I like when you do that. That's good.
Back to the chair.
That's good. By the way, the corridor that comes up through your town,
We're putting in a toll plaza.
toll plaza. That's awesome. All right, as we have some fun with this, anybody got some questions, John?
I have a question. I'd like to make a motion to approve the opening of a public engagement period on the proposed CTP amendment for the northeast and southeast quadrants of the proposed Waxhaw Parkway between North Carolina 16 to South Providence Road, east of downtown Waxhaw.
Second.
Second over there. All right, that motion is up. All in favor? All right, any opposed? Nobody. All right, Bjorn, thank you very much. Thanks for all the effort between all of us. It's been nice to have that cooperative effort. All right, next up, Travis, you're up again. This is on the 2025 tip. Go for it. You're up. Floor is yours.
Hey everyone, Travis Johnson with CRTPO. I'm here to give an update on the 2026-2035 TIP development process, also known as prioritization 7.0. I'm just gonna give you an update on the status of the projects, go over some public comments we received, discuss some rail projects that might appear on the list, or not might appear, that will appear on the list, and then answer any questions you might have. So again, we are currently in a 30-day public comment period that began on June 22nd, and this will conclude on July 22nd. We've been promoting this through social media, press releases. We have a web page dedicated to it. And we have the list of projects on that page. We have an interactive map. We have a PDF map of all the projects. So through the website, we've been collecting feedback. As of 7/17, we had only received 5 resident comments. In general, they just shared support for different projects that they were passionate about, talking about different greenways or roadway projects. We also received just a general support for the need for public transit in general. So again, we're collecting all this, all the feedback we receive, and we will include that next month. In addition to the resident feedback, we did receive feedback from 3 of the member jurisdictions about changing the limits on the Idlewild Road project. So this is H19247. So this is a change in the project limits. Instead of going from Stevens Mill Road, the request was to reduce the limits to Mills Grove Road to Indian Trail Fairview Road. And again, for the description, prioritize the focus on the intersections along that corridor. This was endorsed by Union County Board of Commissioners. We have letters of support from Union County, Indian Trail, and Stallings, and then the resolutions will be coming in August to finalize that. So with that, we'll just adjust the limits of the project before we submit that for P7. We've also been working with the NCDOT Rail Division since March to identify projects to incorporate in our list. We originally began coordinating with them in March. We worked through them some virtual meetings and in-person meetings to find out what projects might be a priority. And we received a list of projects in June. Since then, we've been coordinating with our neighbor NPOs and RPOs and other jurisdictions that might be affected by some of these projects. The rail projects that were provided to the CRTPO, if any one of the affected MPOs or RPOs submit these projects, then it would be incorporated into our list as well. So even though we have 49 submittal slots, other MPOs and RPOs have other submittal slots, but because it affects multiple jurisdictions, if any one of them will submit a project, then when we get the projects back after they've been ranked, it would then be on our list. So even though we did not submit the project, we still might have a project on our list if it's along one of our corridors. With the list that we received, we are still doing additional research or additional coordination to make sure that our member jurisdictions were aware of the projects, we understand what the long-term effects of what these projects could be. And so we saw a lot of these projects as maybe being more of candidates for prioritization 8.0. So that way we would have time to do proper vetting and coordination. However, some of our neighboring NPOs think that the projects are ready to be submitted. So we do anticipate there being projects that are not on our list that will eventually be on our list because they'll be submitted by our neighboring jurisdictions. So again, these are the Charlotte to Washington, DC service passageway. There's a Winston-Salem, Charlotte passenger rail, modernization along the rail corridor. So all of these projects have been updated on the rail spreadsheet that is available on the website. And again, these are projects that we are not planning on submitting, but a neighboring jurisdiction of an MPO and RPO will be submitting. So that means that they would just be considered and ranked as part of that process. And again, for these projects, this is that 10% of the total pot of money that is available. So we will collect feedback, and then we will be given the opportunity for any of these projects that are regional impact to apply local points. And that will then also affect the overall total points of the project. So we are still working with our partners. We will update you as more information becomes available. But just know that these projects, which are not on our list, might appear on our list. So again, we are in the first stage of a multi-phase process to get this get the P7.0 to a draft tip and then get approved. So again, right now we're in the May to September timeframe. This is again where we get the list, we get it endorsed by this board, and then we submit it, and then the projects will be then ranked between October and March of 2024. And then we'll be given an opportunity to apply local input points, and that's where we have an opportunity to affect the total project score. And then we should see a draft 2026-25 project list in December of 2024. And again, this is the culmination of that process that was approved a couple of meetings ago. So we're just working through this development process. We anticipate at the conclusion of the July meeting coming back to you in August with our final draft list for endorsement. After it is endorsed at the August meeting. I will then submit the projects into a spot online database, and we will have every project in there by September 29th. And then at that point, we'll see where the projects rank. And so with that, I will pause and see if there's any questions.
Process.
All right, thank you.
All right, Marshville bypass tolling study. Kendall, where did he go? He's up there. There he is.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kendall Clanton with CRTPO, and today I'm providing an update on the Marshville bypass tolling study. First, I'll give a brief scope of the project, then the update, and lastly, next steps. The Marshville bypass is part of a controlled access facility plan for US 74, which may potentially bring interstate designation. The project is a 5-mile, 4-lane expressway with a tolling system to help keep local traffic within Marshville while maintaining economic activity. The NC Turnpike Authority and Department of Transportation developed a toll project policy for MPOs to study roads for potential tolling. The Marshville Town Council and Union County Board of Commissioners requested that CRTPO submit this project for analysis. The pre-submittal assessment is a high-level analysis, and this was the first time the tool has been used by NCDOT. The initial results showed that the bypass would not cover its maintenance and operations, but the tool is very sensitive. Adjusting the number slightly yielded a much more positive result, which is why we will be requesting permission to analyze the bypass further. A potential option is a tolling system with the Monroe Expressway. Next, we will respond to any TCC or board member comments over the next few weeks, then go back to TCC to ask for their recommendation to the board to adopt our resolution. And with that, I'll respond to any comments or questions.
All right, our presenter, questions, Rob.
The tool you used, you said you adjusted the numbers slightly. What numbers did you adjust out of curiosity? You said
Sorry, say again.
no, go ahead, sorry.
I believe it was the traffic numbers. So I think in the initial results, it's probably around 16,000. And that's when we got the result that the bypass would not cover its maintenance operations. On the top of my head, I think it was adjusted to around 18,000, and the result jumped to it likely would cover its maintenance and operations.
So further investigation and just do another traffic study, another traffic count.
I believe NCDOT is looking into doing that right now. We're just looking at potential options for the bypass.
Very good. Craig.
Could you go back to the slide with the map, please? So how many more miles, what's the additional distance that through traffic will have to bear to get around Marshville using the bypass?
The expressway is 5 miles long.
So, and if you go straight through, how far is that?
I'm not sure. Maybe Bjorn or someone can answer that question. Around 3 miles.
Just trying to determine how much time or miles would a driver save or cost the driver by taking the bypass?
I can't answer that right now.
The the bypass, it will be tolled. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, sir. Similar to the Monroe Expressway.
But it does not connect into the Monroe Expressway, which ends.
We're looking at potentially having a system with the Monroe Expressway that may be an option.
Okay.
All right, good.
That's the only questions I have at this time. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Lee.
Sir, can you go to the next slide? So why is it that this is eligible for NCDOT to do, but not some other projects we're considering? I'm still trying to understand, when does North Carolina DOT construct a toll road, and when are we told we don't have a choice but to go this other route?
Honest answer, I was just told to present on this. Yeah, okay.
Bob, if you could.
The reason why this was analyzed as a toll facility is that a request came from the Union County Board of Commissioners and the town of Marshville Town Council asking that CRTPO submit it to NCDOT for analysis. That's why we're studying this project. NCDOT and the Turnpike Authority won't analyze a facility as a potential toll project without the local MPO making such a request.
Right, but the reason this local MPO didn't request is because we were told it would be 30 years out. And that's the only reason that we apparently 10 years ago said, all right, we'll plan to make this a managed lane. I'm talking about I-77 South. So my question to you is, it's not just a matter of this board making a request to NCDOT. It's also a function of the information we're providing about how long the wait will be, right? Following me? So why is this wait apparently sufficiently short that it can go ahead and be approved through this process, but some of these other projects, it's a very different matter. Do you understand my question?
Well, I think so. We are talking somewhat apples and oranges here because this is a fully tolled facility. It would be a fully tolled facility, much like the Monroe Expressway. Whereas with 77 South, we're talking about the potential for a managed lanes project that could be operated by a private concessionaire. This would be operated presumably by the North Carolina Turnpike Authority, much like the Monroe Expressway.
But I don't understand why this body apparently was told a decade ago that I-77 South, if we wanted NCDOT to do it, we'd have to wait whatever it is, 30 years. And that's why apparently this body a decade ago voted to proceed with the managed lane process. So my question to you is, why do some projects not have to have a long wait and get to go through the NCDOT route rather than having to do what apparently we elected to do a decade ago with I-77 South?
But this is a pre-submittal assessment that's being undertaken by NCDOT, so it's hard, it's a very high level, as Kendall mentioned, analysis of the potential for the project to cover its operations and maintenance costs. So it's not nearly as detailed as anything that was done for 77 North or anything that's being done now for 77 South associated with the unsolicited proposal. They're very, very different.
If I could, we've got a couple of DOT people in the room. So Stephen, if you could fill in on that.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I can shed a little light on it. All this is that the county and the town requested CRPTO look at it to submission. This has nothing to do with NCDOT accepting this at all. That's a long way down the road before that would happen.
Brett, I know you're in the room. Can you shed a little bit more light on that, add to it or not?
Yeah.
Grab a mic.
You guys hear me? I mean, essentially, exactly what Bob was trying to relay is that this is a request from the local groups for a study to be conducted. It's not stating that the project is going to advance or it's not defining any schedule. It's only a very preliminary analysis, and so that would be all that would come out of this at this time. I think there was a request potentially to include it in the P7.0 submittal, potentially. That, am I wrong there, guys?
Was that?
If not,
Yes, that's right.
Oh, it is. Okay.
and I think that might even be tough to pull off because we're kind of in the middle of all that and there would be a lot to accomplish at one time. So it doesn't set any goals or state that we're going to move forward with it or that it would be publicly or privately funded or any of that. Really, it's just an analysis to determine, it could just be a viable at the request of the local. That's all.
Trustee.
So I guess my question is, why couldn't Mecklenburg County and Charlotte do the same request for 77 South instead of entertaining this unsolicited proposal?
And I think that's where Lee was heading as well. Stephen?
What I was
Pull that up close to you, please.
Yeah. not to speak on behalf of the whole board, but I can tell you that the interest of the department is getting 77 South built. In what form or shape, we don't know yet. But that, in my opinion, will be built before there'll be any other toll road of any kind built around Charlotte. That's
So,
our number one
To
traffic
be
issue.
clear, what you're saying is that this particular project is at such a high level of analysis right now that it doesn't even compare as far as standing in line with what we may see on I-77. So this, again, I think what we're seeing is just the request, and to Rusty's point as well, could it have gone like this? Could I-77 have gone this way? I think that's something will be asked in the future, but I don't know that we have that answer yet, why it couldn't, but that's something we probably could look at. See Brett and Tony over there.
Also, a quick comment, I was mistaken. This is not for P7, it's just for selection into the next MTP.
Tony,
And clarify with Brett,
you grab the mic.
independent of. And thank you. I'll get there. Independent of the unsolicited proposal or anything that's gone on within the last year, my understanding is that NCDOT has been studying what to do about 77 South for a long, long time, internally. And the fact that DOT is studying what to do about something is separate from when it might get put in the queue for the STIP. They're separate from proposals from unsolicited, outside parties.
Mike.
The I-77 is in the STIP. And we saw that the timeline that was on was going all the way out. That precipitated, as was the case on I-77 North, the question of alternatives, because the situation is dire. So I'm not sure if I understand this process correctly, that we are, it feels to me like we're very early here, responding to a request for an assessment, and that before this would actually come to fruition, a lot of the same things that had to happen with I-77 would have to happen for this. Would that be a fair statement? So this is just early days. This is like 7 years before the contract was signed for I-77 North. And it's sort of, we're now in the midst of something that was scheduled by the state, the need for which was recognized, the funding for which was sort of designated. And then we saw, oh my God, 2045 to 2050, is there a better way? And that's how that conversation came about. So I don't think there's a direct comparison, is the way I put it.
I think again, what the question is being, could we have done I-77 the way this is starting? And that's again, different timeframes. I think that's what we're up against right now. So the I-77 has been in the queue for so many years. This is brand new, if I remember. This is fairly new, this request.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe in the future, as we look at things, again, funding mechanisms for this, we may determine or not whether or not this is any project going on that might be similar to I-77, how it would be funded, but we're not there yet. So. All right, any other questions, thoughts across the table? Lee, does that get you most of the way there?
Everyone says this is just studying the project, not like asking for it to be funded by DOT.
Yes.
In which case I'm fine.
Okay.
Just one last question.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a quick question. I think you had highlighted that this is not even on any plan. It's not on an MTP, a CTP. This line is
No,
not on anything.
it's
So,
not.
so before it can go anywhere, Lee, it has to be a line on our map. So,
It is actually on the CTP.
Okay.
But that's an unfunded, there's no fiscal constraint associated with that, but it isn't in the MTP. That's the most
okay,
important thing.
that's good to know. Thanks for
Okay.
that clarification.
That's great. All right, we'll that'll be interesting to explore later on down the road, but we've got some interesting changes coming up with a couple of new bills when they take effect, if they do and how they do. So we'll take a look at that. All right, any other questions before we move on? All right, Kendall, thank you very much. Sorry to, we're testing Kendall here. We're putting the newbie up all the time, so that's good. Nice job, Kendall. Appreciate that. All right, Mr. Burke.
The August 16th CRTPO board agenda is anticipated to include the following action items. We'll be requesting an endorsement of the P7 project submittals that Travis presented on earlier tonight. And then also an endorsement of a resolution in support of the continued evaluation of the Marshville bypass as a tolled facility. We'll also have action on an amendment to the FY 2024 Unified Planning Work Program. We also anticipate 2 information items. You'll receive an information report regarding the CRTPO discretionary fund policy revisions, as well as an update on the I-77 South process that NCDOT is working through with the unsolicited proposal. And then I just have one additional comment. The Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration held their quadrennial certification review to evaluate and certify the CRTPO's transportation planning processes on Tuesday, June 27th. So CRTPO staff is awaiting the results of the findings from the certification review that will be summarized in a report prepared by FHWA and FTA. That's all I have.
All right, very good. All right, as we get into some board member comments, I'd like to address a little bit things that the MOU subcommittee has been working on and why we're taking certain directions with it right now based on some new information and things that we want to make sure that are as transparent as they can be. So I'm going to pass the baton over to the vice chair, and she's obviously been very involved with this whole process on the committee. So Lisa, it's yours.
Sure, absolutely. We just want to take an opportunity to update everybody on where that process is going. Obviously, it's a very important document and we want to get it right if there's going to be any changes. So in the subcommittee, we have discovered that there's a need for some outside legal counsel so that we all feel equally represented, as opposed to the representation of legal counsel being from the city of Charlotte. So again, we want a disinterested third-party legal counsel to stand on all of our behalf and that everybody feel represented. So in order to do that, we all know it's a government process. Got to have an RFP, which is underway. Staff is working on that. Should have that hopefully in the next couple of weeks to be able to put that out there and, quickly narrow down some short list of names. So if you have a recommendation of someone that we want to make sure we get that RFP out to, if you can get that to Bob or Neil, that would be helpful. But we really, again, we want to get this right. We want to get all of the information correctly and thoroughly, so that this group can make the best decision going forward. We're not under a specific timeline on the MOU. So it's just that it's recommended that it's looked at after a census. And because we didn't change our boundary lines, it's not a requirement. We're just doing very good due diligence based on feedback that you and some of your prior representatives have brought forward. So we have, the good news is we did confirm with FHWA that PL funds can be used to take care of the fees for the hiring the outside legal counsel. So that's a good thing. We know how to pay for it. Now we just want to narrow it down to who that's going to be. So that RFQ, will be put together. It's already underway. And hopefully we'll have some a better update and more precise at our August meeting. But again, we want to get that right. And I think everybody can agree with that and feel represented by a disinterested party that doesn't have a dog in the hunt. So any questions on that or thoughts later, certainly forward those to any of the staff, myself or Mayor Pappas, and we'll work through those. But it's good things to dig deep into the roots and get it right the first time. So measure twice, cut once.
There you go. Bob, you have some weigh in on that, please.
I just wanted to mention that thanks to Jennifer Stafford, the RFP is complete.
Oh.
And I believe if it's not posted, it's going to be posted maybe tomorrow, right?
It's sent out.
It's sent, okay. So the RFP work is done and we'll be looking for people to respond, and hopefully we'll get some good folks to respond and have some proposals to look at and pick the best candidate. So I just want to let everyone know the RFP work part of it is done.
Oh, great. So that's a great,
Yep.
Right.
that
Thanks
is
to
the
Jennifer.
most current update. So again, if you have any council that you would like to recommend, if you could get that to staff, they can make sure that that is sent out to those parties.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Appreciate that. Any other comments, thoughts, questions along any lines? Lee?
Thank you. I appreciate Mr. Burke answering my question about how long it's been since CRTPO has received a formal update from the I-77 partners on the North Managed Lanes contract. 3 years is a really long time. And I don't know what obligation they have to come before this body. I don't know what reporting requirements they may have. But if there is any obligation, I want us to confirm that and be sure that they are meeting it. You know, we all have a lot of thoughts and feelings about I-77 North, and especially as we consider what the future may hold for us. I think that kind of responsiveness would be really welcome. And if there is no legal obligation for them to come here and field questions from us, I respectfully submit it would be a great idea for them to make that offer anyway, especially as they seem to be seeking that we would entertain a future relationship. So I just again reiterate, I think 3 years is a really long time to have such an important actor sort of operating a service in our community to have absolutely no communication in this forum. So thank you.
Brett, could I ask you to weigh in a little bit on that too? I know you've had a little conversation with it as far as what potentially their requirements or reporting requirements are periodically.
No, as far as reporting, kind of here at the board, I don't think there's no requirements contractually that they come down here and make a presentation. There's a lot of requirements that they've got to report their, I guess, all
So the what's happening in the corridor, how many transactions there are, all that stuff, and they're fulfilling those requirements. Commissioner Altman, since you had inquired about that, I've had several conversations with mobility partners, and actually I did receive a letter from them today. And I don't think the letter explicitly says, hey, we'll come down here, but my understanding is what they're saying is, I'll just paraphrase, they're definitely willing to engage, any local elected officials that want to talk through this or better understand it. So if there's a request from CRTPO for them to provide information or come to a presentation, then I believe they would do that.
Well, I really appreciate you facilitating that conversation, and I would like to know what this body thinks might be the best way to approach. I don't know if we come up with a list of questions or, what might be the best mechanism, but I think we should seize the opportunity to flesh out questions and concerns that have sort of been plaguing all of us as regards that contract. So I would open it up to my colleagues to see what folks might suggest could be the best way to develop a master list of questions for that engagement.
All right, there's a couple thoughts and comments around the room. I'm going to go with Craig first. Oh, okay. All right, let's stay on this one. Ed, did you have a comment, thought? I see you're leaning towards the mic.
I would just say, I've had a number of conversations with mobility partners. They've been very forthcoming. My impression was that if they got the invitation, they would come. Then the question is, are we all on the same page in terms of what it is we want from them? So I think that you're right to suggest that we should probably have a little bit of an agenda for that meeting, which was kind of agreed among us, and then send it to them with the invitation so they know what to expect. If they just show up here, they won't have kind of materials that might be responsive to our questions. So I don't know who wants to take on the task. I mean, if you're proposing this thing, do you want to make a first cut at the kind of information we would hope to get from them?
I was going to just weigh in on that as well. So we, in the past, recent past, we talked about, we'll call it some of the sore spots that were, part of the prior agreement. And we should all then come up with that list, if whatever we can think of, whatever remember from before, and we can look at that and park it. I wouldn't want to go too far down the road right now without having any idea whether or not they'd be even close to being a successful candidate or not. I think we as a body should know what those other points were, 10 points, whatever they were. We should know what those are so we can keep those parked. So when and if we come to an agreement with anybody, that we can address those same issues as well.
Well, I'm sorry, just to be clear, it's about their performance of the contract that's already in place that I wanted to ask about, not about anything in the future.
Right. Dennis.
Yes, I'd like to second what Lee is mentioning. That's really gets to the heart of what I was asking, even though I understand your point. It's been 3 years. I didn't realize it's been that long before, since we've heard from them, just to see how the financials are performing. But I would certainly agree.
Brett, where do the requirements for reporting go to? What I'm saying is, right, that's what I'm thinking too. It's a DOT thing. So I'm going to guess that the reporting requirements per the contract go to DOT.
That's right. They make submittals to NCDOT regarding their, and I can't cite every single one of them. There's a lot of reporting. There's a lot of information they provide us. There's a lot of focus on the maintenance of the corridor, for example. What type of activities are they engaging in? They have to report all of those things and deliver on those items. And so they are meeting those requirements. And then there's information online on their website that talks about some of this stuff, I believe. So as far as contractually providing that information, we believe they're solid there. I think maybe what we're talking about today is just some additional information that you guys may want to hear from them, right?
Well,
Go ahead, Rob.
and I'm sorry, John, I didn't mean to step in, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Thought you might.
I've got a constituency that I've got to report to, and particularly in my area, this has been a point of contention since day one. And I think that Centra owes it to us to report to us, not just to the DOT. As you said, there's so much information that they're required to send you to disseminate what is and what isn't. I think we go back to what Ron said earlier. I think collectively, somebody can be the gathering point for submittals of our questions. I don't want to bushwhack anybody, and I will take a pledge to be civil if they come in the room. But I think there needs to be a gathering place for the questions that we have, so they have the opportunity to vet those questions and then answer them to us, because we're the ones that have to carry that information back to our constituents.
John?
I'd like to make a motion that we formally invite Mobility Partners / Centra to come before this body to answer questions at some point in the near future.
Okay, that motion is up. Comments, thoughts? Yes.
Would that be part of our regular agenda, or would that be more of an information session that's prior to our normal meeting?
I think it should be a part of our meeting, so the public will hear it.
Agree.
And question two, would it be us making the request to the person who has the contract with them, DOT, to then provide that? Or are we able to, as this body, make that request directly to Centra?
Well, I assume we can make an invitation to anybody and they can decide to take it.
Or not, right?
All right.
Why would we not form an agenda and questions, first gather information, data that they already have? That might lead to more questions that we want to ask Central when they come in front of us. It seems like we need to get data from Raleigh first. Let's get that, then let's form an agenda that we want Central to come in front of us.
Right.
That would be the correct process in my opinion.
And I tend to agree there. Let's get our agenda together. I mean, as to Rusty's point, you don't want to ambush or bushwhack somebody, although sometimes you might feel like that. But I think that we as a body need to formulate what we want to address, involve DOT, and then do the invite.
Would it make sense to all gather to perhaps send the questions that you have to Mr. Burke so that he can create a master list, and then we can go over that list as a group and try to come up with a final version of it and then understand our next step.
I think that'd probably be the most appropriate one. Does anybody want to amend that? Or we
So
just-
moved.
So moved.
If you will accept that friendly amendment,
That's
Mr.
fine. I just
Mayor.
want to
Higdon.
invite them at some point. I think they owe it to come before this group and
Mr.
answer
Chair,
our
we have
questions
a
directly.
motion and a second on the floor.
Right.
So is this a motion to revise the motion or?
Yeah, it's to amend it to formulate an agenda prior to inviting them. So, this may take a few months before they actually come.
Or at least some time period.
Yep.
So I think we all understand that we want to gather that information like we've talked. Go through the process of getting whatever we need from reporting from DOT. Then make the formal request either of DOT or us directly to invite them before us.
And I particularly like Lee volunteering Neil to be the receiver.
Yes, Neil.
She's
Feel free to say
good.
no.
Instead of me.
She's really good, so.
So I'm clear, the motion that was amended by Mayor Higdon is a motion to formulate an agenda and invite Sintra for a presentation at an upcoming CRTPO board meeting.
Fair enough.
And do you all want to set a deadline as to when to email all the questions to me? Does 3 weeks sound good? 3 weeks from today? 2 weeks? Everyone okay with 2 weeks?
She's really working you.
I know.
Good.
Did you say Sintra?
Sorry, I-77 Mobility Partners.
I think it's important that we make that distinction.
Yeah.
Sintra submitted the unsolicited bid. Mobility Partners is managing North.
Yeah.
So those are the people we want to hear from.
All right.
Thank you.
Fair enough. All right, David, thanks for that suggestion as well. All right. With all the dialogue and all the amendments, I think we agree where we're going. Craig. That's correct. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Anxious, I know. All right. All right, the amended motion is up. Second is up. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Craig.
I've had a couple of people recently ask me and I couldn't remember what is the status of the interchange at I-85 and 485 and that mess that we used to go from I-485 west on I-85.
Did Tim Moore put you up to this?
I don't think so. What is the status of that activity, project, whatever it is?
Gonna let the board member speak to that a little bit. Stephen, please.
I've been personally heavily engaged in trying to get the funding. Right now, there's no funding. It's not in the STIP. So the President Pro Tem of the Senate is unwilling to put it in the budget. The Speaker of the House very much wants this. So he's looking at alternative ways to fund it. This did lead me to do a little research and provide to the President Pro Tem of the Senate the fact that it was in the STIP, but it was improperly costed, dramatically lower. So it was pulled to be properly costed. But during that time, they hit 2019-20, where there were cost overruns and the entire project got waylaid. To me, it's the most important project we have right now because when the department starts widening 85 west to Atlanta, you will not be able to get on that road.
Right.
And the airport is the #1 economic generator in the state of North Carolina. So it would be wonderful if you would weigh in with your Senate representatives who could weigh in with the President Pro Tem, how important this is to this region. That would really help.
Thank you. I really did not know what the status was. I had forgotten all about that. So I'm an old man. I forget a lot of things. So I appreciate that. And I would hope that the folks around here would contact their senator and perhaps their member of the House, even though the budget is by and large finished, it's not finished until it's signed into law. So there's still an opportunity. Thank you.
I appreciate that. It's a good question. All right. Any other comments for the good of the group all the way around? Stephen.
Mr. Chair, I wanted to thank members of this committee who attended our DOT board meeting when we were here. Unfortunately, we had to move the dates around a little, and I know a number of you had council meetings or commission meetings when that took place, and we apologize for that. But the board members really appreciated those they got to meet, and that you would take the time to come out and meet with them. They found it a most interesting meeting. The purpose that Tony and I had was really to show that we have an economic region here that's very important to the state. And I think that some members hadn't been in Charlotte for 8 years. They were overwhelmed at the amount of activity here. We took them up on top of the Lowe's Technical Center on South Boulevard, 25 stories. When they looked out over the city and saw the economic activity, they were amazed. They really were. And then, of course, we took them out in traffic so they could understand what we're dealing with here. But it really was a good visit. They appreciated what we did. And again, for those of you that could come out and meet, we really, really appreciate you would take that effort. And I have a presentation book that I'll leave with staff. And there's some good economic information in here that they may wish to share with the board. I brought that tonight for that purpose.
All right, very good. And I also want to add to that, I was able to attend that, and I want to thank you guys, Tony and Brett and Stephen, for putting that entire presentation together and coordinating all that effort. It's a lot of work. Tony.
And we met that Monday night of that meeting at the Speedway and many of you here were there, and the overwhelming theme of that meeting was regional collaboration, especially around big projects that we can all agree on as a region, and the fact that, and as Stephen mentioned, we've got a lot of data in that booklet about how people move around this region. Many, hundreds of thousands of people in this region live in one place, in one county, and work in another county, and vice versa. And people are moving around this region all the time, and they're not paying attention to the lines that they're crossing when they do that. They're getting to their job, they're getting to their education, they're getting to their healthcare. And so, the whole point was to work together and collaborate. And we really emphasized that as a board.
And I think that's a good point going forward. As I've said before, I think that we now as a board probably collaborate more than, not to say that it didn't happen before in the past, but I think this board is more interested in collaboration between us. And so I will commend all of you guys for digging in and getting into the subject matter that we need to. I think it's very important. I know I was at both those events that you're talking about. I was actually very surprised on some of the people who visited from Raleigh almost didn't know where Charlotte was, so to speak. But, I think that we need to be very, very vocal, and we need to talk to each other, make sure we get the right direction and get the right information to representatives. That could help us out. I don't think that happened before. I really think it was very different. And case in point is probably the I-77 North a little bit. I don't know what that was then. I don't want to worry about it that much now. I want to know about it, but I don't want to let it drag us down. Stephen, you had another comment real quick.
I believe, and this is a personal comment, that we get a disproportionately low amount of funding in this region. And we really have to step up our collaborative work together to solve that. But if you look at the budget, and it's public information, you look at the fact that we're more than 20% of the economic activity in the state, we really need to step up our conversations and dialogue with our elected officials to fix our problem, because the traffic is getting worse and we haven't even fixed what we needed to fix 5 years ago or some period of time. So we really need to step it up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, very good. Well, all good comments. And I think, again, the collaborative effort that we're all coming together on, I appreciate that we can actually talk open and freely about stuff, and we talk to each other, we call each other if there's a problem. I think that's fantastic. So want to encourage that going forward. And if we don't have an answer to something, we'll get it. It may take a little digging to get it. There's some that may or may not be able to, or in some cases not willing to, but we'll dig it out. So we'll really do that. So I appreciate all that from everybody. All right. Any other comments for the good of the group before we go? All right, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn then. Moved, all in favor? I heard the first, the second, the third, so we're all ready to go home. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.